this is what we did yesterday. We did miscible solutions, and then miscible solutions, they were classified into ideal solutions. Ideal solutions were those which are obeying the Reol's law. And what does Reol's law say? That the partial pressure of one of the component that is equal to the product of the pressure of the pure component and its mole fraction. So we have a binary solution AB, and PA is the pressure, partial pressure of A, that will be equal to PA naught into XA, and PB will be equal to PB naught into XP, and total pressure P, that will be equal to PA plus PB, which is PA naught into XA plus PB naught into XP, right? And we also said that all solutions which obey the Reol's law, they are known as ideal solutions. For ideal solutions, forces of attraction AA is equal to BB is equal to AB, right? And we also said that delta H mixing, in this case, that is equal to 0, and delta B mixing, also in this case, that is going to be equal to 0. Okay, then we have another kind of solutions which show deviations from Reol's law. They are known as non-ideal solutions. Non-ideal solutions are those solutions which are not going to obey the Reol's law. Non-ideal solutions show deviations. So there are two types of deviations which can be shown. The first one, that is known as positive deviations from Reol's law, and the second one, that is known as negative deviations from Reol's law, right? Now, positive deviations means what? That the total pressure is going to be greater than expected, right? So, if we are saying that the partial pressure is PA. For positive deviation, the partial pressure is greater than PA naught into XA. Similarly, partial pressure of B, that is going to be greater than PB naught into XP. Therefore, the total pressure P would be greater than PA plus PB. Okay? Now, when we are talking of positive deviations, it becomes very clear that the forces of attraction AA, that is between the same components, and BB are stronger than forces of attraction between AB. Okay, because forces of attraction in AB is weaker, therefore the partial pressure, that is going to be more. And if the partial pressure is more, such solutions, they tend to show positive deviation from Reol's law. So this is what positive deviations is. An example which we can take over here is ethyl alcohol and water. Okay, now ethyl alcohol we know has hydrogen bonding. Similarly, water also has hydrogen bonding. When we mix both of them together, certain hydrogen bonds of alcohol are broken and certain hydrogen bonds of water are broken, as a result of which the interactions between both of these, they are weaker, and hence they show positive deviations. Another example which we can take over here is that of acetone and carbon disulfide. Okay, another example we can take is that of acetone and carbon tetrachloride, CCl4. So these are the positive deviations. Then negative deviations. Negative deviations from Reol's law will now mean that PA, that is going to be less than PA naught into XA. Okay, and PB is going to be less than PB naught into XP. Therefore, the total pressure P, that is going to be less than PA plus PB. Okay, and over here the AA and BB interactions. AA and BB interactions, they are less than AB interactions. So the forces of attraction between A and B, that is going to be greater. An example which we can take over here is that of HCl and water. Okay. Now in this case, what is happening in HCl and water? The hydrogen bonding in HCl is not present. But when HCl forms bond with water, they form hydrogen bonding, as a result of which strong bonding occurs between HCl and water, and the solution, it shows positive deviation. Another example which we can take over here is that of methyl alcohol and acetic acid, right? We can take another example of HNO3 and water. Clear? So these are the positive and negative deviations. We can also show them graphically. So let's show ideal solutions and non-ideal solutions graphically. Graphically, when we are plotting the graph for first, let's plot it for ideal solutions. Okay, so ideal solutions, when we are plotting a graph, let's say over this point XA, that is equal to 1. Okay, and at this point XA is decreasing, XA becomes equal to 0. Right? Here XB, that is equal to 0, and XB is increasing, so here XB becomes equal to 1. Now we know that as the mole fraction of a component will increase, the partial vapor pressure will also increase. So if XB is increasing, we can say that the partial vapor pressure of B is also increasing. Okay, over here the partial vapor pressure of B, that is 0. So with increase in B, the partial vapor pressure increases, and that depends upon what? That is going to depend upon the mole fraction of B. Similarly, when XA is increasing, the partial vapor pressure of A is also increasing. So this will become equal to PA is equal to PB naught into XB. Sorry, it is equal to PA naught into XA. Okay, and this represents the total pressure P, which is equal to PA plus PB. Right? So this is a graph for ideal solutions that shows that as the number of moles or the mole fraction of a component increases, its vapor pressure also keeps on increasing. Right? Then for non-ideal solutions, let's plot a graph for positive deviations. Right? When we are talking of positive deviations, again this is XA, which is equal to 1. Over here XA is equal to 0. Then XB is equal to 0 and XB in this case becomes equal to 1. We will draw the same graph as for ideal solutions. This is the graph for ideal solutions as we have depicted over here. Now positive and positive deviations, we know that the vapor pressure is going to be more than expected. So it shows a graph like this, which is greater than the ideal behavior, and similarly here also, and similarly here also. Okay, then when we are drawing a graph for negative deviation. For negative deviation, again, if this is equal to xa is equal to 1 over here, xa is equal to 0, then xb is equal to 0 and xp becomes equal to 1. And if we are showing a graph for ideal behavior, then this is the graph. Okay, and for negative deviation, the graph would be shown on the lower side of the ideal behavior, as the pressure expected is less than that of the ideal behavior. Okay, so graphically we show the ideal solutions, positive deviations and negative deviations. Now Réal's law, we can say, is a special case of Henry's law. Let's see how. Before that, let's combine the Réal's law and the Dalton's law, then we will go on to that. Okay, so we are combining the Réal's law and Dalton's law of partial pressure. Now, what does the Dalton's law of partial pressure say? Dalton's law of partial pressure says that P is equal to Pa plus Pb. If there are two components or two gases, Dalton's law of partial pressure is only for gases. So, Dalton's law of partial pressure says that if any container contains more than one gas, then the total pressure exerted by the mixture of the gases is what? It is a sum total of the pressures, partial pressure of each gas. That is what Dalton's law says, right? And according to Réal's law also says the same, but over here he is taking the vapor pressure into consideration. Okay, so when we combine both the laws, we get an expression. Let's say that Ya, that is equal to mole fraction of A in the vapor phase right? Similarly, YB, that is equal to mole fraction of B in the vapor phase okay, and XA is the mole fraction of liquid A. Is the mole fraction of B. Right? So this is what we have. Now we know that according to the Réal's law, we can say that PA, that is equal to mole fraction of A into PA naught. Okay, let's say Ya into Pa naught. In a similar manner, Pb will be equal to Yb into Pb naught. According to Réal's, we say that Pa is equal to Xa into Pa naught, right? And Pb, that is equal to Xb into Pb naught. So these are the equations which we already have. Okay. Now when we are, let's say the first equation, that is 1. This is 2, 3 and 4. Now let's equate equation 1 and 3. According to equation 1, Pa is equal to Y naught into Pa naught, and according to equation 3, Pa is equal to Xa naught into Pa naught, right? So when we are equating both these equations, what do we get? We are getting YA naught into, sorry, this is not PA naught, this is the total pressure. According to Kelvin's law, this is the total pressure. Okay, so PA that is equal to YA naught into P. So यहाँ पे भी आ जाएगा YA naught into P, that is equal to P over here is equal to XA naught into PA naught. Okay, so when we have equated both the equations, what will be YA naught? What will be YA over here? YA will be equal to XA naught into PA naught upon total pressure. So this is from which we are going to get numericals. Okay, based upon the Reynolds law, let's practice a few questions. We will discuss 4 questions today. The first question, let's see what is the first question. The vapor pressure of ethanol and methanol are 44.5 mm and 88.7 mm of mercury respectively. An ideal solution is formed at the same temperature. By mixing 60 grams of ethanol and 40 grams of methanol, calculate the total pressure of the solution and the mole fraction of methanol in vapor. Now to calculate the total pressure, we first have to calculate the mole fractions, and to calculate the mole fractions, we first have to calculate the number of moles. Okay, so let's calculate the number of moles of methyl alcohol first. Number of moles is equal to weight given upon molar mass. The weight of methyl alcohol given is 40 and its molar mass, that is 32, right? So when this is calculated, it comes to 1.25. Then let's calculate number of moles of ethyl alcohol. Okay, the weight given is 60, molar mass is 46, right? And this when calculated comes to 1.304. Then let's calculate the mole fraction of each. Mole fraction of CH3OH, that will become equal to 1.25, that is number of moles of A upon total number of moles. So total number of moles would be 1.25 plus 1.304, that is coming to 2.554. Right? And this is 0.49. Right? Similarly, we calculate the mole fraction of C2H5OH. Okay, so that will be equal to what? 1.304 upon 2.554. This when calculated, that comes to 0.51. Or you can simply subtract 0.49 from 1, you will then also get 0.51. Okay, so we then calculate the pressure of CH3OH, that will be equal to PA naught into XA. The pure pressure, the pressure of the pure component or pure methyl alcohol, that is given to us as what? 88.7 in the question. So, into 0.49. Right? This becomes equal to, when calculated, 43.46. Right? Similarly, we can calculate the mole fraction of C2H5OH, that will be equal to PB naught into XP. Okay, PB naught given to us is 44.5. So 44.5 into the mole fraction is 0.51. This becomes equal to 22.69. Okay, then we come to the total pressure P. The total pressure P will be equal to pressure of CH3OH plus pressure of C2H5OH, right? So this will be 43.46 plus 22.69. Okay, and this when calculated, the total pressure that comes to 66.15. So this is the first part of the question. Then the second part of the question will be what? We have to calculate the mole fraction of methanol in vapor. So mole fraction of methanol in the vapor state, that will be equal to partial pressure of CH3OH upon total pressure, right? So P of CH3OH upon P total. P of CH3OH comes to how much? 43.46 upon total pressure is 66.15. Okay, and this when calculated, it comes to 0.65. 0.65. Okay, so this is the first question. Then let's go on to the second question. The second question is, two liquids A and B form an ideal solution at 300 Kelvin. The vapor pressure of solution containing 1 mole of A and 3 moles of B is 550 mm of mercury. At the same temperature, if 1 more mole of B is added to this solution, the vapor pressure of the solution increases by 10 mm of mercury. Determine the vapor pressure of A and B in their pure states. Okay, so let's say that in pure state, the vapor pressure of A, that is given by PA naught, and the vapor pressure of B, that is given by PB naught. Okay, now what would be XA? XA will be equal to number of moles of A upon total number of moles, right? So in the first half they are saying that the number of moles of A is equal to 1 and the number of moles of B is equal to 3. So this will become equal to 1 upon 4. Number of moles of A is 1, number of moles of B is 3, 3 plus 1, that becomes equal to 4. And XB, that will become equal to number of moles of B upon total number of moles, right? So number of moles of B is equal to 3 upon 4, right? Now when we are talking of total pressure will be equal to PA naught into XA plus PB naught into XB. Okay, total pressure given over here is 550, right? That will become equal to 1 by 4 into PA naught plus 3 by 4 into PB naught, as XA that is equal to 1 by 4 and XB that is equal to 3 by 4, right? So this will become equal to what? We take 1 by 4 common, multiply 550 by 4, 2200, that will become equal to PA naught plus PB naught. Let's say this equation is 1. Okay, now in the second, they are saying that if the number of moles of B is increased by 1, the vapor pressure increases by 10. So for the second half, the vapor pressure now becomes 560. Okay, and number of moles of A will be equal to what? 1 by 5? 560 because it was 550, na? Where?
3 PB naught.
Oh yes, over here. 3 PB naught. Okay. Now over here we are saying that 560 हो गया ये, and after 560 what will be the number of moles of A now? 1 by 5, so it will become 1 by 5 PA naught plus what will be the number of moles of B? Total number of moles would be what? 4 by 5 now, na? So that will be right. So we take again 5 on this side, so that will be 28. 100 is equal to PA naught into 4 PB naught. Let's say this is equation 2. Okay. Now when we are taking any of the equations, let's say we take this, the first equation we are taking, then if we take this equation, then what will we get? 2200 is equal to PA naught plus 3 PB naught. And the second equation we are getting is 2800 is equal to PA naught plus 4 PB naught. Let's subtract equation 1 from equation 2. So we are subtracting equation 1 by equation 2, we will have 2800 minus 2200, that is equal to PA naught and PA naught will cancel. Okay, PA naught and PA naught will cancel out. So we have is equal to 4 PB naught minus 3 PB naught. 2800 minus 2200, that is equal to 600, and this is PB naught. So PB naught, that is going to be equal to 600. Now we can find PA naught by taking any equation. Let's say we take equation 1, we put down the value of PB naught over here. So what will we have? 2200, that is equal to PA naught plus 3 into 600. So this will become 1800. Therefore 2200 minus 1800, that is equal to PA naught, and which becomes equal to 400 is PA naught. Got it? So this is how we were supposed to. Question 3. Question 3 is an aqueous solution containing 28% by mass of liquid A with a molar mass of 140 has a vapor pressure of 160 mm at 37 degrees Celsius. Find the vapor pressure of pure liquid A. The vapor pressure of water at 37 degrees Celsius, that is equal to 150. So we have to calculate the total pressure. P is equal to PA naught XA plus PB naught into XB. For this we have to calculate the number of moles of A first. Number of moles of A, 28% is given, so we can take it as 28 grams, and the molar mass given is 140. So when we calculate this, it comes to 0.2. Now if 28 grams of this is present, then 100 minus 28 becomes equal to 72. 72 grams of water will be present. Molar mass of water is 18. So this when calculated comes to 4.0. Okay. Let's calculate the mole fraction of A. Number of moles of A 0.2 upon total number of moles, which will be 4 plus 0.2. 4.2, right? This when calculated comes to 0.046 7. XP can be either calculated by the formula, that is 4 divided by 4.2, or it can also be calculated by subtracting this figure from 1. So this when calculated, it comes to 0.953. Now we can calculate P total. P will be equal to PA naught into XA. PA naught is 0. PA naught we do not know, we have to calculate. P total is given to us as 160. Okay. So this will be equal to PA naught into mole fraction of A, which is 0.047, plus PB naught is given as 150 into the mole fraction, right? And over here, total pressure given to us, that is 160. So when we calculate this, PA naught, that becomes equal to 360.15 mm of mercury. Got it? Okay. Then let's go on to the last question, question number 4. Question number 4. Fourth question is, heptane and octane form ideal solutions. At 373 Kelvin, the vapor pressure of two liquids are 105.2 kilopascals and 46.8 kilopascals. What will be the vapor pressure of the mixture of 25 grams of heptane and 35 grams of octane? Right? Again, let's calculate the number of moles first. So we are calculating number of moles of heptane. The weight given of heptane is 25 and the molar mass of heptane is 100. Okay. So heptane is what? What is going to be the formula for heptane? C7H16. 14 plus 2 na? 2n plus 2. So that is going to be 16. So does this come to 100? 7 into 12 is 84. 84 plus 16 is 100. Okay. Then similarly the next is N-octane. Number of moles of octane, that is going to be equal to weight of octane given is 35. Upon 114. So that is 0.31. Let's calculate the mole fraction of heptane. I am taking heptane over here. Mole fraction of heptane will be equal to number of moles upon total number of moles. The total number of moles, that is 0.56. So this when calculated, it comes to 0.45. So the mole fraction of B will become equal to 1 minus XA, right, is equal to 1 minus 0.45 is equal to 0.55. Clear? So this is XB. Let's calculate P. P will be equal to this will be P. Okay. So what is PA naught? PA naught will become PA naught is given as 105.2. XA. XA is equal to, where is XA? 0.45. Plus PB naught. PB naught given is what? PB naught given to us is 46.8. And XB is 0.55. Okay. Clear? 70.08 kilopascals. Okay, but now we have to convert this into bar. So 73.08 kilopascals, that will be equal to what? 73.08 into 10 raised to power 3 pascals. Right? We know that 1 into 10 raised to power 5 pascals, that is equal to 1.008 bar. So, conversion factor, if we are taking over here, then we will have 1 will be equal to, unit factor will be 008 upon 1 into 10 raised to power 5. Okay, and these many pascals will become equal to what? 1.008 upon 1 into 10 raised to power 5 into 73.08 into 10 raised to power 3 pascals. This is also pascals. So pascals and pascals cancel out. So the answer to this, that comes to 7.36 into 10 raised to power minus 1 bar, or 0.736 bar. Okay, so today we will do only till here.